Hello everyone, my name is Emilia. Welcome to our channel Couch English, where you can enjoy expansion of your business English vocabulary. And what you can also await here is some source of inspiration related to some business processes and some kind of the processes which can be probably valuable in your daily work if you work in a business. Today, I would like to tell you a little bit more about some kind of a structure which is becoming more and more popular in business, although not in all of the branches. Therefore, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about so-called helix structure. It's not yet that popular structure in the organizations, although because of the challenging world, because of the fact that more and more managers, they are really struggling a lot with managing the business, managing the processes, and also, of course, managing people. There is some kind of idea which is in fact incorporated already in more and more IT companies, and that idea is in fact called helix structure. How it works in practice. It works this way that in that Helix organization, we are going to have two managers. So the reporting line will be both to the functional manager, and that is going to be the person who is going to be responsible for some tasks, assignment of different kind of the projects, for support in the technical aspects, for sharing the knowledge related to the delegation of the duties. So this technical manager, who is normally called also the value creation manager, this is going to be the person to whom employees can always go whenever they have some kind of the question, some kind of the query related to their daily work, daily routine. If they are not sure, for example, what kind of a decision should be taken in terms of their daily responsibilities. So they can await that kind of the manager to provide them with some kind of support related to their knowledge expansion. And typically or traditionally in most of the companies, the managers, they are going to combine two roles. So on one hand, they can be that kind of a mentors. They can be the people who are going to share their technical knowledge, the knowledge connected with the process. But at the same time, quite often it works this way, or maybe I should even say always it works this way, that managers are also responsible for developing the skills of the employees, developing their career paths, being empathetic. So they're also responsible for people management and some soft aspects of collaboration and communication with employees. And typically, those two roles or those two aspects of the roles, they are combined in one hand. If it is about that helix structure, it works a little bit differently because if we have done two managers, it will work this way that that soft aspect, it won't be in hands of this tech lead. That person is just going to be related to those support to that support which is connected strictly with the knowledge, with assignment of the task, with delegation of the duties, with checking if the tasks are executed on a proper level. And on the other hand, if it is about all the aspects connected with checking in what areas employees should be developing, what kind of competences, skills they can still develop, some kind of decisions connected, for example, with designing the future career path, decisions connected with the pay rise, or some kind of the support connected with maybe any kind of conflict that happened between the employee and some other person. So all that soft aspects, they would be in that helix structure in hands of the second manager. So people manager, team manager, or leader, of course, because right now we are rather talking about leaders, not even managers. So that second soft aspect, people management aspect, is going to be in hands of that second leader. So people leader, team leader, the person who is responsible for developing the capabilities of the employees. I can assume that that kind of the reporting line can be quite beneficial for both managers and also the employees. Because on the other hand, for many, many years, a lot of companies, especially international companies, had a little bit different way of reporting, also double reporting, but usually to two managers. And in that traditional reporting, it worked this way that we had, for example, line manager and functional manager. It worked in practice this way that both of the managers, so this line manager and functional manager, they could delegate, they could assign tasks to the employees, but from a little bit different perspectives. Line manager, it was usually the person who was located in the same division as the employee, who was responsible for the operations of that division. And that was the person who was assigning the daily duties, the daily responsibilities to the employees. It was, or it is, because still, of course, that kind of the structure is quite popular. It was the manager who was also responsible for decisions about the salary raise of the employees. It was also the manager who was responsible for deciding about the development of the employees. It was also the manager who was approving the vacation, the leaves of the employees. So the daily collaboration in hands of that line manager. On the other hand, if I were referred to my branch in which I work, so the human resources, it could work this way that if I were, for example, the HR business partner, I would probably report to this line manager. So, for example, the CEO of the company who would be located in a given country. And apart from that functional manager, it would be the person from the same area in which I work, so from HR. So HR, as an HR person, I would report probably to HR director. So this functional manager who would be located in a different country, that would be the person responsible for designing the HR strategies, probably for some series of countries. And on one hand, I would still report to that line manager. On the other hand, probably if it is about implementation of different kind of initiatives, HR processes, I would have that dotted line also to that functional manager. And what could be confusing in that kind of double reporting structure would be that still I would know I have two managers and the tasks could be assigned to me from both of them. So it can happen that they would have a little bit different priorities. And on one hand, my, for example, line manager would tell me, you have to be responsible right now for the recruitment processes because we are developing the business. And my functional manager would tell me, well, in fact, you have right now to introduce some new standards connected with employer branding, and that's your priority. So I would have two tasks. I would know that probably I'm not able physically to do it, but they would assign me a bit different priorities. So that could be the conflict of interests. And I wouldn't be sure what kind of tasks are more important. That's something what can be confusing in the double reporting and having those two types of managers, so the line and functional manager. But I would say that if it is about that Helix organization, not necessarily it will happen because in Helix organization, the employees from the very beginning, they will know that despite the fact that they have, of course, still two managers and they are on the same level, so they are like partners. At the same time, if it is about assignment of tasks, these daily routines, something what is connected with the performance of the employee, that kind of the reporting line and correlation, I'm sorry, would be connected only with that technical leader. So only for the with the person, it would be connected only with the person who is responsible for delivering the value, delivering the performance, the person who is responsible for assigning me the tasks. On the other hand, as the employee, I wouldn't be so confused as in case of double reporting because I would know that only in case of some soft aspects. So if I have a question connected with my future career, if I have a question connected, for example, with my pay rise, if I'm not sure how to communicate with certain types of the stakeholders, in that kind of aspects, I would know that I can go to this second type of the manager, so to this people or team leader. So for me as the employee, it would be definitely easier because I wouldn't have this conflict of interests. At the same time, I think really that if it is about leaders, they also could prefer it because right now the pressure put on the leaders is so high that combining two even types of the authority, so being the authority from the point of view of the knowledge and being also the authority from the point of view of being charismatic, being the person who is a role model, being the person who is empathetic, who can pave the path for the employees for the future development, who can take care of the employees, who is the person who is also supporting, being the servant leader, being the inclusive leader. I think it can be really, really overwhelming. So if we have in fact one function divided into two separate roles with also a little bit different competences, I believe that even for the managers, it can be really quite valuable. So that's about the Helix structure and comparison with double reporting. As I was mentioning, for now it works mainly in some IT companies. I believe that probably in the nearest future, that kind of the structure is going to become more and more popular. But of course, I'm also wondering, and if you only wish, you can share your opinions. So, welcome to our channel. You can, of course, enter the YouTube channel not only for the purpose of that particular video, you can also enjoy our webinars, different kind of videos, all of them dedicated strictly to business processes. You can share your opinions, you can check what else we can offer, and apart from that, I can probably also invite you to our Facebook channels where you can find a lot of inspirations. By inspirations, I mean different kind of podcasts, different kind of vocabulary and articles, all of them very carefully chosen by us. So only the ones which are really valuable, only that kind of the words which can bring you additional value to your work. So if you wish, enter also on our Facebook channels. And at the same time, I'm inviting you to our website where you can enjoy also our courses, our webinars, and the YouTube channel is also visible here. Thank you very much for being here with me, and I hope to see you soon.